Welcome, 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 everybody tuning in, everybody zooming in. I'm Fab Five Freddy here with three amazing ladies, dear friends of mine. We go back a lot of history that we've shared. Man, this is exciting. Obviously, we still in this Zoom COVID period, but we are making it do like we do. Salt-N-Peppa are hitting the TV screens. Two of the pioneering women in this game are going to be on a major movie about their incredible history and legacy. So we're going to talk to them, but I also have to introduce also the incredible and equal pioneer of this game, one of the strongest ladies in the game as well, MC Lyte. What up, Lyte?
What's going on? Good morning.
And now the great, the queens, yes. Salt-N-Peppa's in the goddamn
Salt-N-Peppa's here.
Yeah.
What up? What up? What up?
All icons. I'm looking at all icons. And I'm loving the platinum, darling.
Oh, thank you so much. Let it grow out during COVID. Let my silver fox take the stage. Wow,
it lays nice. It lays nice.
Thank you so much, man. It just popped up on there. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna let it go and I'm gonna let it grow.
We like it.
Thank you so much, man. Love you guys. Well, the first thing I want to say to you guys, Salt-N-Peppa, that as soon as they asked me to do this, which of course I said yes immediately, is the very first taping and airing of Yo MTV Raps was with you two ladies, Salt-N-Peppa. You know, the whole idea for that show for me, just to give it a little historic plug for you youngins that don't know, everything MTV did prior was a VJ sitting in a room with a background, and they were introducing videos for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time, and you'd be sitting there waiting to get a Michael Jackson, a Prince, a little something black, which was very rare at that time. So when they asked me to do this and wanted me to host a hip hop show, they said, well, Fab, how would you like to do it? I said, well, I don't want to be cooped up in that studio like them other MTVJs. I want to be in the street. I want to be in the hood. I want to be where the music is being made, where it's created to take the audience into the culture. So the first one we did with Salt-N-Peppa was rehearsing for a music video. Oh, God, I can't remember the name, but we went to a little dance studio in Midtown and y'all were rehearsing and I jumped in.
It was Get Up.
Get Up, right. When them and that was a moment. And you guys were on the rise. It just continued to just blow up. Just really amazing.
I remember that being a big deal. I remember being nervous. Interviews back then was a little shaky, a little difficult. You know, we weren't used to them, but I also remember it being a definite defining moment for hip hop.
Wow. And Pep, how do you remember that moment, the beginnings of people getting to see, this was, most of hip hop was all still going down in New York City in these 5 boroughs at that time. And you guys were stepping up in the very beginning of getting national TV exposure. Pep, what was that like for you at that time in the game?
It was an amazing feeling. Because you know, we always said we brought bringing fun, fashion, and you know, femininity, and that was important to showcase all of that, because that was what I was about, the fashion, you know, the fun, and then get it like all of the amazing attention, the records, the platinums, the overseas success. But I wanted to say a defining moment for me too, it was the #1 question they used to say, will hip hop last? Oh. And I just remember you celebrating. I remember coming to your show when it was like the 25th anniversary or something, because that's a big thing to celebrate. Yes. And we came to you on your show, your MTV, and it's like, yo, let's celebrate hip hop, because that was the #1 question, and that's a beautiful thing. Like, and it, you know, it's here.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Everything's hip hop now.
Everything is hip hop. Now, I want to bring you in, like, help me out. I'm not too clear, but in this Salt-N-Peppa dropping on the timeline of what happened, when did you drop in relation to Salt-N-Peppa happening? Break that down for me, please.
Well, you know what's so crazy is being in the midst of it, it felt like they had just been out forever before
Right.
I came. And that was because I was blessed to hear Showstoppers out in Far Rockaway, Queens. I don't even know if the ladies know this story, but I was at my grandfather's house in Far Rockaway, Queens, and outside this guy, Supreme Allah, you know, one of those fellas, had this, right, a 5%er. He had this huge boombox and he was playing Rakim. And I was like, what is that? Wow. And by the time I got downstairs, he had on Showstoppers. And I was like, what the? I'm getting ready to do this. I hear these ladies and I knew every word. So it felt like they had been out forever. But I think Hot, Cool, and Vicious dropped in '86. Mm-hmm. Wow. And that is when I went into the studio and recorded I Crammed to Understand You. So I Crammed to Understand You came out a year after Hot, Cool, and Vicious.
Oh man, please, for all of y'all listening and watching, if you don't know these clips, you can go right to YouTube and check this hip hop history out. It's really important because once again, hip hop, as we all know, still is very male dominated, but it was great to have some sexy, strong female energy step into the game. Now, I just got to tell you guys something amazing that happened to me over the last 2 years. Now, we in the Uber call up Uber, Lyft era when we want to get a car to go somewhere.
Right.
How crazy is it that twice, this is about 2 years ago it happened, I called for a Lyft, not an Uber. You know, we say call an Uber, but it was a Lyft. And the driver was Herbie Lovebug's younger brother.
Are you serious?
Listen, so now let me tell you, get in the car, we in the car riding, we rolling, we don't know who the hell each other is. You could only see the driver through the rear view mirror. And then at one point, I don't know how it happened, but he looked at me, he said, wait a minute, we start talking. All of a sudden, it was like, yo, this is so crazy. So, of course, that was the best ride. We caught up on a lot of stuff. But how about within the same year, it happened again?
Wow.
So help me. Coming off a plane at the airport, waiting for the car. How about it's him again? So, of course, in those cab rides, you guys came up. Herbie's been doing a lot of work, as you probably know, down in Haiti. I think he started a TV station and all that. Take us back to you guys in the beginning working with Herbie. I know the story, but I love hearing it. The way y'all so innocently and honestly got in the game. Please tell us.
Well, you'll see in the movie, it started out that Herbie and I were boyfriend and girlfriend. We were working at Sears. That's where I met him. Everyone knows the Sears story. Martin Lawrence, Salt-N-Peppa, Kid and Play, Herbie Lovebug worked at Sears. And Herbie was part of a group called the Super Lover MCs, which Play was in that group. So Herbie was always an aspiring rapper, producer, and creative. I've always been able, as his girlfriend, to sit there and watch him, get his first drum machine, in the attic, hanging out, making beats. And without going through the whole story, Salt-N-Peppa came from, that relationship, him wanting to start a girl group. And there was a couple of girls that tried out, one was Janiyah, her voice was too high. One was Allison, she spoke too properly. And me and Pep met at Queensborough College. And she was in the lunchroom being Peppa, and I was very intrigued by who is this crazy lady? And she was intrigued by me. Also, a funny thing she said before, like what attracted her to me, she was thinking like, who's this girl over here not paying no attention to me? So that's why she wanted to get to know me. But anyway, we got to be friends. Obviously, we had an amazing chemistry. And when we put Pep on the mic, it was like destiny, meant to be, vocal tones, chemistry, friendship, with Herbie's genius, her Jamaican fire, my Brooklyn attitude came together and just made this sound, and it was just undeniable.
Wow. It sounded like the three bears would go like the pirates. Just
right. Too hot.
And this one was just right.
This one was just right.
So when you would say, this was too high, this was too
this one was always
right.
Yes, you guys have always had the best energy, the best vibe, the best bubbling energy. But Pep, tell us a little bit about what those early days were like. I know the goals were much more simple, and I know in the beginning people was trying to be big in Brooklyn, big in other boroughs in New York City, because it was a limited space. I mean, how did you feel as it just kept mushrooming and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, Pep?
This was a whole crazy thing, because Salt-N-Peppa and our story, I'm going to the park jam, period, okay? That was my role, okay? Look, going to the park jams in the neighborhood and watching the local MC, turntables, hooking up to the light, right? You know, and then when it's like Herbie's dream and it was believing in me, this is something I could do, but this wasn't something that I was set out to do, Salt or I, in terms of us being rappers, you know? And so I'm put into this, and I don't know, it was very difficult. That's why I love my story today and the accomplishment that it's showing, the growth that it gets to be, you know, to get to see, because getting on the mic for me, I was stuck for a minute in the beginning. I don't know if it was shock or whatever this thing was to actually be an MC. And I'm Jamaican, pronouncing words a little different. Cheryl used to say, don't pronounce the whole word. You know, Jamaican, 17 job, you have the education, pronounce the word properly. And, you know, so, and Herbie, the greatness that he is, and he had a vision, and it was his vision. He wanted it said, sound a certain way. It took me 4 hours a day. He didn't care. Sunlight to sundown to get a bird song, and back then it was hard. It's not like Pro Tools and all kinds of flying and all that shit.
Wow.
I was like to mesh the hooks together. It was doing separate hook every time, getting each hook the same way as before you could fly.
Right.
But so I worked really hard in the studio, but he stretched something, he brought something out of me that of course was already in me. And I'm glad he believed in me and saw something. And he gave me the name, but I made that Peppa, you know what I mean? Wow. And it made me the woman I am today. Of course, with a lot of things around, the elements and components to make all of this happen. But, to get that out of me,
amazing.
Felt good.
Give me some of your input as a prominent female in the game at that time, but being solo. I mean, they played off of each other back and forth in that classic Run DMC style, that format. Right. As a solo, what was it like being that lone female in this extremely male-dominated game? What was you feeling on the inside, knowing that there were other chicks cutting through? How did you feel?
Well, first off, I have to say, in the very beginning, I did have a partner. I did have I had a partner, and we were called Pure Elegance.
Oh, well, goddamn.
And my name was Sparkle, and her name was Dazzle. And Richie Rich, who went on to DJ for PM Dawn, was actually our DJ.
Wow.
Yeah, and we would rehearse and all of that. But when it came down to it, she wound up going to nursing school, and she took that path. And I was on my way to school, but decided, okay, I'm gonna go audition for this label. I didn't really know that's what I was doing. I was just going to meet them, and then when I got there, they were like, rap. And I had my little rap book, and just like Peppa said, they were working with Tascams with 4 tracks, so. And as much as Herbie was on you, Milk was on me. Like, no, we gotta be in the pocket right here and But I know an interesting story is once Salt-N-Peppa came out, I was like, I was in the clubs and Latin quarters and I saw you all perform at Union Square.
Woo,
and I actually got
yes,
photos because
baby.
if anybody knows, I had my camera around my neck at all times. So I got these great photos. Y'all had on these red hoodie sweatshirts with these leather jackets and gold rope chains like up around the neck. I was like, this is hip hop. I still have those photos today.
Good, because we really calling you.
But what I did is one day I ran up on Herbie in Latin Quarters and I was like, hey, my name is Lyte. And, I want to rap, da-da-da, da-da-da. He was like, all right, here's my number. I'm going to hear what you got. And I would bug the mess out of him and Chuck Chill Out and Red Alert and all of them. And then finally, it popped for me. And he was like, damn, I'm sorry. I didn't get back to you.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, it happens, and when you have people that are like steadfast, this is what I'm gonna do with my life. You can only hope that you run into the people that's gonna see it and help you do it. And for Salt-N-Peppa, y'all, look, I'm here in front of y'all. Y'all were everything to me. Y'all gave me, like, just hearing the nuances in your voices, and I knew who was who, and I knew the style of each one of you, and I am an amalgamation of both of you. That's the truth. And anytime I have the opportunity to give you all the props, I do so because I wouldn't have even believed I could do it without hearing Salt-N-Peppa.
So I just got to jump in there. That was so beautiful. I love this here female energy, which is so strong now throughout, as we now have a female vice president. We got Abrams who just helped us win Georgia. This is great. I love this. But I have to add, I never knew that pre-Lyte history. I have a 24-year-old daughter who I named Sparkle. And so I have to throw her in there. This is great. Also, I want to add that there's a documentary that some buddies of mine made, which you can go see on YouTube, which is called Founding Fathers of Hip Hop. It's a documentary about these DJs before hip hop, and it focuses on a lot of cats from Queens that had them big sound systems that played the parks. So it's a really good look at before Kool Herc did what he did. There was a whole scene that very few people know about. Some of those DJs, Pep, that were plugged in into those street lights in the parks with guys you'll see in the Founding Fathers of Hip Hop doc. So now you guys have this movie about your life. Tell us a little bit about what it's like seeing yourselves on screen in this Lifetime movie. What's that experience like?
It's a beautiful feeling for me because it is going on 36 years. It is, 36 years for Salt-N-Peppa, and starting way back then. It was a story to be told that needed to be told, and we've been telling it, doing interviews, talking about it for many, many years. And for it to finally to be able to put a visual to it that everybody could see our stories and go, oh, I remember that, or this is what happened, now I understand, or they can actually see it. And I wanted it. And I always said, when I saw a Tina Turner movie, and I was like, I want to be like Tina Turner, because she went out, doing her thing on her stage. And I was like, if I ever do a movie, I want to go out like that. And for us to be here this long and doing, still doing what we do and embraced by our fans, and it's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah, it's like a red ribbon on the iconic, legendary journey of Salt-N-Peppa to be in this position to get our star on the Walk of Fame, to get the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys coming up, as well as our biopic and a bunch of other things. It's like the end, not the end, Sandy. Sandy don't like those words. But it's like the accumulation of a body of work that most people don't start out, when you in the streets grinding, when you going to school in the daytime and you're working at Sears after school and you're traveling to do shows in Manhattan and Philly and Maryland, on the weekend, you're not thinking come into this place where you're still celebrated to this extent. So the longevity for us is just an amazing, amazing blessing. And to hear Lyte, who's been consistent about how we inspired her, you know, and I'm proud that we were able to inspire and MC Lyte the way that we did.
I love this.
And just to say Vita White is, because I think it, not because it's a neat, yeah, I mean, we always speak of you too, like every opportunity, because we remember those times. And it's like, to be here now for all of us in the platform that we are in, as female rappers and in a male dominated field, and supporting each other at all time, and let the story be told and known, like enlightening us, you know. And
well, you know,
Shout out
what's
to
crazy
Sparky B,
is-
by the way, who's working on her documentary as well.
Okay. I actually, I think I came to that same rehearsal studio in Manhattan when you were rehearsing for Get Up. And I came there because Kate Ferguson sent me there to do an interview on you guys. They were doing like a special with celebrities, interviewing celebrities. And they gave me a couple of choices. And I was like, Salt-N-Peppa's on the list. I want them. And so yeah, I remember coming down to that same rehearsal hall when you guys were getting busy for everybody. Yeah.
Wow, amazing memories. Listen, so the two actresses that play you guys, Layla Odom, and who's playing Peppa, and Gigi Townsend plays Saul. What's that like? I'm sure, you know, meeting them women. Tell us about, you know, if you gave any advice or tips, what's that like having somebody depict your life?
It was surreal for me. It was a definite trepidation, you know, of how, you know, this is going to come out. And so I did work with Gigi. You know, I remember like my career started in Queens, but I consider myself a Brooklyn girl. I'm from Brooklyn. And so
in the building.
I was letting her know, like, you know, Brooklyn got an attitude. You know, I've always been known for my attitude. And so just working with her, because she was a little shy, and saying, you know, you have to be a little more aggressive and so on and so forth. But what I do appreciate about Gigi is that, you know, there was some vulnerable moments that had to be told. It's your life story. And one of them was dealing with my bulimia. And her and I had a really awesome moment where she was doing a scene where she was purging, and she cried like afterwards, like she really got something about how, you know, kind of disturbing of a place that I had to be in to have this habit. And I remember going in the scene and hugging her and crying with her, because I was just so appreciative that she understood. A lot of people don't get what that is, you know, eating disorders, but it's a mental issue, a mental health issue, just like any other mental health issue, and something that we're addressing, you know, in the movie. And so, yeah, it was a great experience.
And so, Pep, talk about your experiences with Layla Odom, who plays you.
Yeah, I think that was very important for us to be hands-on, and that goes back for us and to be executive producers on the movie, to tell the story. And so picking and going, you know, looking at the audition, because I got a lot of mannerism and all this. And so I needed someone to really be able to capture Peppa.
I should have played Peppa.
Wow.
To bring Peppa. And so I'm looking, and then when I seen her audition, and you know, because I know the script, and then when her ad-lib, she did this ad-lib with there was a scene when when we first heard our song on the radio, and I jump out the car and I'm like yelling on the boulevard. But in the audition, she's doing that part. And then I heard she did some ad-libs about, I'm gonna get some BBS and some rims. She was just doing some extra New York. And I said, that would have been me. Like, I would have been saying, yeah, this is
Wow.
ribs from a right, you know, and all of that. And so she was capturing me, and I, you know, and I couldn't have been more happy. And, you know, we met each other in, like, in the hotels, like, you know, and going over the line. And she was like, she read my book. She knew me. She understood me. And she was like, you know, because there are some scenes too that what I shared in the story about my journey and what, you know, things that I went through and how I was reacting then to pain and where I'm at now. And so she was like, and you will see that in the movie as well, that's a big moment for her that she had to do. She said, I want to make sure I tell this right. I want to get your story right, even with the men, the scenes, everything. You know, she was wanted to make me proud, make Salt-N-Peppa proud. She understood the legacy, the brand, everything. And she didn't want to, she was so into it, like, like, I'm like, yeah, you know, and it was no, and that was reassuring, proud, and knowing they took their job. She took her job so serious. She became me, and she's really kind of like me in person when I,
Okay.
you know, when we talk. I was like, oh, it's so bad.
Is she from the islands?
I don't think she's from the, you know what?
From Harlem, she said.
Where?
Harlem.
That's like being from the islands.
Yes.
The island of Harlem.
That's so good. Just for y'all to remember and know, we are talking about Salt-N-Peppa's Lifetime on the Lifetime channel. Their biopic is happening. It is airing. It is a major cinematic television event. MC Lyte, we haven't seen it yet. What are you hoping to see in this Salt-N-Peppa movie, this major moment, being that they were inspirations of yours from when you was a young shorty?
Right. Well, you know, actually, just what they just mentioned, you know, we know these big things that we've heard over and over through history, but they're the things in between, you know, that you may have missed, or that they didn't think was important enough, or, you know, that people would be interested in. I'm just looking for all of the nuances. And the matter that Salt just spoke of, you know, I had no idea that was, you know, an issue for her to conquer and overcome. And that's what a lot of people, you know, not just myself, but a lot of people want to see, okay, they're standing so many, you know, so many decades later. Like, these women, a pandemic had to happen for them to come off the road. Like, they still on the road, getting it, headlining, doing all of this work. And people want to know, okay, this is no cakewalk. You know, people say Black girl magic, and I'm like, no, this ain't magic. We are working hard behind the scenes to make stuff happen. And I think it's a disservice to tell young people or say that it just happens or that it's luck. Yeah, but you got to be prepared. And then once you're there, you got to work hard to stay there. Yes. And then you got to work even harder to excel. So it's not about just maintaining, it's about really building. And that's what they've done with their careers. So we, as the onlookers, we want to know, okay, what were the adversities? How did they get past that? How did they get over that? Who did they have to let go? Who did they bring on? Like, what were the decisions that had to be made? So I'm excited to see the whole thing.
I just want to say it's great to just hear you guys, all of you guys talk, because having been in this game so long as I've been in it, and I've been in this game for decades, one of the things that I am so inspired by, impressed by, and I'm always conscious of is the intelligence level of those that have been able to survive in this game. And you guys are exemplary of that fact. But I have to ask you, of course, the obvious question about some of the new women in the game. I've been fascinated by the directions that has taken place. Obviously, all of those women owe respect to all three of you guys that I'm talking to, but I want to know from you guys, Salt-N-Peppa, as well as you guys, like, how you feel about what you're seeing now with some of the women that have been able to carve out their position and place in the game, hip hop music.
I think it's awesome. And freedom of speech, everything. because especially with us, we're coming from a place, first of all, where our music was censored, what we could say, what we couldn't say. And, you know, and I think with hip hop and, you know, writing, being creative, it's a self-expression. You should be able to say and do it. And as women today and having their voice and its platform to own their own, and, you know, and don't need a male camp to keep them on, or, you know, they doing their own, putting other male camps on, other male artists on. And that's what it is. It's a voice, because it's still a male dominated field. So as much as we gotta still celebrate our women, our MC, our female rappers out there doing it, and keep it going, keep this voice going.
So
I love that there's more of an opportunity that we didn't have back in the day to become moguls, you know, to be not only in charge of your image, but to also have more control over your finances. You know, I think that artists today have way more information and they have way more access than we did back then. So that's the part that I'm definitely proud of. And MC Lyte is, for me personally, you know, I look at all the things that she has her hands in as far as production and, you know, ownership. And every time I turn around, I'm like, this girl is doing something else.
Iconic voiceovers.
I mean, voiceovers is the
voice, goddammit.
I don't even think people understand how much this woman is accomplishing. And so I'm always proud when, you know, a female can stand in that boss position and go into those big rooms and understand her value and her worth, and, you know, be in charge of her business. But like Pep always says, it is about your camp. She also has a Lynn Richardson, you know, that is a woman who is of a like mind, who is about her coin, you know. And so that coming together, I've seen that evolution with the two of them that caused her and Lynn to put themselves in an amazing position. So kudos to you, my queen. Kudos.
Thank you very much. I think what's miraculous about this is that you all were able to stay together. You know what I mean? Through every adversity, everything that might have been thrown at you. And of course, we don't, you know, as outsiders, we don't know all of the things that are happening, you know, on a daily basis, or for that matter, just in general. But I think the power of you all staying together is also showing up, that you're able to reap what you sowed those, you know, so long ago. You're still able to participate in what is to be had now. And so for the ladies that are happening now, as both Salt-N-Peppa just said, is that they are able to play the game at a level that could only happen with all of us laying the track work down, you know, from Sha Rock and Pebbly Pooh to Roxanne, Sparky D, all of them up through. There's no way that the ladies today that are able to profit in the way that they profit. And just being embraced by all media, you know, wouldn't have happened without everyone prior to moving it through, you know, to what it is now.
This is a great example of the foundation of hip hop. Once again, intelligence, but you can feel this like sisterly unity amongst y'all. The love is real. The love is palpable right now. And once again, I just want to comment on the fact that, you know, I like women being in charge. You know, it's a different level of dynamic. It's not that aggressive male testosterone shit, which we know where that can get us. Oftentimes it can get us off in the wrong direction. I like that smooth, harmonious female type of flow. And now we have, once again, we have a woman at the top. The most powerful woman in the world is a woman of color, African-American, Asian-American, went to Howard University. Honey got flavor, honey can move. And I know that she's a fan of all three of you women right here. How do you feel about the fact that Kamala Harris has the soul, has the funk, is a part of this hip hop generation? I met her, I seen her move a little bit on the dance floor. Honey got that rhythm and all that. So how do y'all feel about that?
Cause she's Jamaican. She got that Jamaican in her. You ready?
Yachty for real. My father was a yachty for real.
Yeah, yachty. You don't know. That's why. Yeah.
I love it. You know, that's probably where her audacity comes from. Because when she's been on the Senate floor and she gets into questioning, like you're not backing down. And I just got to I'm a fake in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Jamaican.
Turns out a lot of fake Jamaicans. But you know, I love the culture, and so I think that's, you know, that's where the gall, that's where, you know, that's where the strength, that's where no backing down. You know, I attribute that to, you know, a Caribbean style and a nature. And so in this president, we have all of that. You know, she's showing up and she's showing out. She got her chucks on. You know, anybody with chucks.
Yes.
That's hip hop right there.
That's hip hop, but I love my chucks too.
Wait, like I have another quick question. This came up a few weeks ago and I thought for certain, but then somebody, I think I was texting with somebody and they said, no, I don't think that's the case. I thought that Milk from Milk and Giz were related or some kind of connection. Yes or no?
You thought that because I said that. So you're not like, you know, imagining things. But what happened is when I got with First Party Music Family, I was 16. And so my mom and Nat Robinson, the owner of First Party Music, had a really in-depth talk about my safety. Oh. And he promised her that he was going to take care of me. So when I was out on the road, it was like stage, room, interview, room. Like there was no room in between for anything to happen to me that my mother wouldn't have been proud of or that I wouldn't have been proud of to take home to my mom. Wow. And so they became my family. So the First Priority family, the boys became my brothers. Their mother became like another mother to me. And Nat Robinson was my dad. You know, he took care of me for the years that really mattered most and when I needed it most, you know, because I'm a child raised in a single parented home. So to have a father in place that was just, you know, helping me make the best decisions, rearing my career, and, you know, it just was a great thing. So they're still my brothers.
Once again, for those that don't know, an incredible hip hop record, mid-'80s, top billing, which would create pandemonium in parties, block party. When that record came on, it was unbelievable, the energy and dynamics. Milk and Giz, Audio 2, the record's top billing, check it out. And I love that one record. Now I want to go back to the Salt-N-Peppa biopic. I haven't seen it, but I understand there's a strip club scene in this. Please talk about this strip club scene, ladies, if you please.
Well, Pep dragged me to a strip club. I think it might be the only time I've been in a male review strip club.
Oh, wait. Okay, so set it up. This is, of course, this is not the strip club I go to.
It's back in the days. This is when we were just friends. We weren't even Salt-N-Peppa then. We was just like, and so I was just like, man, you know, I heard about this strip club and everything. And I was like, girl, let's go to this strip club. Male review. That was like my, you know, first time I wanted to check it out. And so yes, a male review. And I had on this leopard outfit, a skirt, a little skirt and everything. And literally we went to this strip club and we sitting in the front row and it's like, and next thing, watching the show, everything. Next thing I know, he comes over. That is so true. Comes and grab me, and I'm like, oh no. And then he grabs me, he flips me upside down, do all this stuff, put me on the floor, and I'm trying to hold skirt clothes, and she's laughing at me and everything. I was like, oh my God, that was the last male review club that I've been to.
So this is a true story that they once again is in the Salt-N-Peppa biopic.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and she had on leopard panties to match.
I did. I had on leopard panties.
I'm like, you want to come dressed like Jane Tarzan?
Baby, I love it, head to toe. God, go ahead. Matching. Black folks like to be matching.
Down in places. I was mortified. I was so glad it wasn't me. I was just like, and she screaming my name. I'm like,
Cheryl. I was like trying to hold it. Oh my God.
Can I tell you, this is so funny. The fact that you had on panties to match your whole outfit.
I love it.
And so was mortified. Jeez.
I definitely want to see all of these now, baby. I'm tuning in.
Meanwhile, girls love that stuff. You go to that place, them girls was riding those guys like, and Pep is wild, but she ain't that wild. She was not ready.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't.
Incredible. Back in the early 90s, so I directed Snoop's first video, What's My Name? And so that turned into, it was a whole long story where I ended up spending that whole summer, early 90s, at Dre's house in Calabasas while he finished Snoop's album. And in between that, we would shoot little bits and scenes for Snoop's video. So Dre was like telling me, yo, Fab, man, there's this strip club and we gonna go and hang out at the strip club. So of course in my mind, I'm thinking strip club, women dancing on stage. And somehow when we're pulling up, Dre lets me know, no, this is a male strip club. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? But the logic turned out to be pretty amazing because
all the women were there.
Boy, listen, the women were there. So the male strippers get on there and they do their thing and they letting it all hang out and blah, blah, blah. The women are just going in. I've never seen women act like that. And then when after them strippers, those women is looking around. There's me and Dr. Dre. I looked at Dre, I said, Dre, you's a genius, man.
Smart man.
A very smart man.
They do go bananas. I was in Ohio and I was invited to a male review, and I swear it must have been about 2,000 women seated at these tables that had about 10 to 12 women at each table, and they were just bananas. Like, yeah, you was a fly on the wall in a circumstance like that. You wasn't going to see that.
Yes, I'm telling you, for any guys tuned in, you want to make a visit to see the male review, aka the male strippers, because those ladies, boy, they're gonna want to talk to you, baby.
Crazy.
So listen, let me get back into your Salt-N-Peppa's amazing career. Tell us a little story about how, like, one of your biggest hits, Push It, almost didn't happen.
Well, it almost didn't happen. We had Tramp, which was back then A-side, B-side was the A-side of the single, and the Next Plateau needed a B-side. And so it was one of those rush situations. And Herbie, being the genius that he is, we went to Fresh Gordon's studio in Brooklyn, and Fresh Gordon happened to play that famous synthesizer line, just fooling around. Dun, 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 dun. And Herbie was like, play that again. And he's like, you like that? Yeah, play it again. So he constructed that song like right then and there. Me and Sandy went into the vocal booth, which was a bathroom that was barely big enough to fit the two of us, and did Push It. And we just didn't understand the song. It was not in the vein of I take your man and my mic sound nice and tramp and you know the showstopper. It was like, okay, it's just a B-side, you know, so whatever. We did it, the song, and you know, it was the song on the Hot, Cool, and Vicious album that ended up being the biggest Salt-N-Peppa song ever. And the song that gave us that platinum international crossover popular success.
Amazing. You know, it's interesting. I kind of personally feel Herbie Lovebug doesn't get enough props for the genius he was in producing and making pop hits at a critical time in the game.
Yeah. Herbie was the first Diddy. You know, Herbie had Salt-N-Peppa, Kid and Play, Kwame, Sweet Tea, Dana Dane. You know, he had the Idol Makers Camp. And he gets credit, but not the credit that I think that he could. But like you're talking about that pioneer opening the door, making a model for someone to follow. I feel like Diddy and people like that, I think they took notice, you know, and it was more for them than just producing or presenting one artist. You know, he started camps. But Herbie also disappeared. You know what I'm saying? He ain't stick around for his flowers. He went to Haiti, you know, and he took himself out of the limelight. And he also tried to make another girl group, but I don't know what happened, you know. So it's like,
but that's why the movie is
like, once you make a Salt-N-Peppa, what else is there? You know?
But to that point, that's why I was just saying with the movie, you know, it get to see that because you couldn't tell the Salt-N-Peppa story without including Herbie. There was no way, no how. And so that was good. But it, you know, so everybody will get to see that. And just to the point with Push It, really quick, what that moment of Push It, and hats off to Push It and Herbie being a genius. It's just that moment, Salt-N-Peppa was getting kind of, I was feeling it. And it was, I mean, Cheryl knew too, like, but I'm just saying about the in the male dominated field, that flack about, I was saw him being popular back then was being sold out. And so when we all getting all this overseas success and all this, they were like, yeah, they popular, they pop, they, you know, like Saul said, that was coming to a different sound. So I remember being right there, you know, Gordy house, like, oh shoot, the street gonna get us now. You know, and he was like, trust me on this one, you know, get in the booth and everything. And of course, trusting him. But he was just showing that, like right now, pop just means popular and everybody wants their records to be popular. And that's all it was, you know, and keeping that focus and respecting the craft and understand the vision where he was going and where we knew where the direction that this was taking us, we need to stay focused.
Go for it, right? I'm glad y'all went for it. You know, can you imagine like a life without Push It? Like, no.
A world without Push It.
Yeah.
And the jackets are more famous.
I gotta ask you, like, where is this your studio? That this beautiful lit? I see. Is that a big?
Oh yeah, you know, this is actually called a green screen for Zoom. Okay.
Looks real.
No.
No, like that is not a real room.
No.
Oh, that's looking poppy. You
it's a real room. It's a real room somewhere.
I mean,
but I'm not in it.
That's crazy because dumb Zoom backgrounds, I have had a couple. You be looking crazy. You know,
you can move around and everything. I need to get that, whatever that one is.
Yeah, like you got your thing dialed in, honey bunny. So, like, let me ask you. So, you've been, just tell us a little bit about what has MC Lyte. I know I love hearing your voice on BET, big award shows and stuff like that. What are some of the other things that MC Lyte has been up to lately?
Well, you know what? Right now, this is Salt-N-Peppa's world.
Yes, it is.
Because I could go on for a long time. What I'm doing, but I really just want to take the time out to honor them. You know, they have meant so much to the culture, so much to female hip hop, so much to the genre of hip hop, pop, R&B, and beyond. And I'm just so happy they're getting all the flowers and all the love. And I'm happy to participate today in showing you all that.
It's so great to have you here. So now, Salt-N-Peppa, tell us a little bit about what's going on. So now this Lifetime special, Saturday, January 23rd, 8 p.m. I know it's going to air a lot more times on that platform. And we still in COVID, but hopefully now that we got somebody in that can run the country in the right way and really get the shots in people's arms and stuff like that. Once we get back to some normalcy, what's on the agenda for you guys on the road?
It's a amazing time for us also because we just we're receiving the Grammys Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh wait, you mentioned that earlier, but please explain, elaborate, share.
Yes, we also we got that call, and Harvey, and it was a great announcement for us, and for remembering that when Salt-N-Peppa, we boycotted the Grammys back in '89 because they weren't televising. Then we went on to winning that, and it was like to that platform to be able to win and visually see us, and full circles to get the Lifetime Achievement Award at this point, at this time, and the acknowledgement and the contribution that we have done, and it feels amazing. And also, we also getting our Hollywood Walk of Fame this year.
That's coming up as well.
Yes, so we got that on the table. I mean, that we're getting that in April so far. COVID schedule and everything.
Yeah.
But yes, and we also got a supplement line. Salt-N-Peppa is working on a supplement line. We partnered up with MD Logic. We got a line for sleep. We'll go into it, and called Let's Talk About Sleep, and one for Push It, memory, focus, feeding your brains, and we'll get all into it. But it's a hip hop lifestyle that that we're because that's important. All of these products, everything too. But we got to take care of your body. That's important still. It's like to keep all of this going. But there's a lot of good things and for Salt-N-Peppa in the work, and with these blessings and these accolades and acknowledgements, and me, I'm Jamaican, I'm gonna pronounce that one wrong.
This is epic.
It's a thankful time to be allowed to accept it,
And also tell me, so what's it been like managing through the pandemic? I'm sure you've done a lot of Zooms for meetings, but what is this period? It's almost been a year we've been living through this. Just speak about how you've been managing COVID, the coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Me and Sandy had been on the road doing Vegas and a million things, almost like 6 years straight. Like, I don't know. I was trying to keep up with Pep. I don't know what was wrong with my head, but I look back like, oh my God, that was a lot, So I remember just saying, God, I just need a year. I just need 1 year off, You
did this.
I did this. No.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, under these circumstances, definitely was not, what I wanted, but when I got the opportunity to just stop and breathe for a second, figure out some things in my personal life, I just appreciated being able to be home. And in the interim, I've been really focused on my health. I've gone plant-based eating. I was starting to have, physical issues that are basically non-existent anymore, as well as losing a few people, which has been extremely challenging and difficult, as many of us have lost people during this time.
Yeah.
This is real, and figuring out where do I go from here, not only with Salt-N-Peppa, but in my own personal life. I would like to say that I'm finally ready to date. I was breaking up with my husband for about 4 years, and then my divorce took 4 years, and it's been 2 years since my divorce. And I'm finally at the place where I'm like, you know what? I think I'm ready to start seeing somebody, because I feel like I've healed.
Don't put it out there, girl.
Yes, I've healed in so many different areas of my life, because if we try to date without healing our trauma, you know, we're going to pick someone from that traumatic place. And we're also going to bring the bad habits, you know, that we have not overcome into another relationship, and we'll end up having the same experience. So I think for the first time in my life, I feel like I know what I want. I know how to set boundaries. You know, I know my value, what I can bring to a relationship. So I'm putting it out there in the universe.
Slide in my DM.
Yes, Freddy. I already been up in some ideas, girl.
Out there, guy.
They will be sliding in them DMs, folks.
Yes, I slid in one DM and asked a couple of questions, just, you know. But I might also do a dating app because that's becoming popular. A lot of people that I know have found someone through a dating app. So
yeah,
wow.
It works.
This is
Definitely works.
I remember, I can't remember the name of it, but I had homies this is some of several years ago that was on the dating app, and the homies was raving. They was meeting real chicks, you know, quality. I said, man, so I said, let me go in there and try this. So I put my pictures together. I got on there, you know, some people start coming at me, and every chick did not believe it was me, because people apparently on the catfish tip, they'll put up fake pictures of whoever. So the 5 or 6 encounters that I had, it was so much work to be like, no, it's really me. But why you on here? Why you gotta be on here? I'm like, why not? Well, you know, you so-and-so. And then it was like, you had to get on. This was before FaceTime. So
they're developing more reputable ones. I hear there's a one for celebrities. There's one where people get really vetted. So it would be something more along.
Yeah, I would. Well, when I tried it, they didn't have that. None of these chicks thought it was me. It was a frustrating effort, but it's really interesting. I have buddies that get on. You know, we travel somewhere, the cats be on Tinder. I'm like, what are you doing, homie? They're like, no, yes, no. So that's wild.
Yeah,
wow.
You have to date in your what do you call it? In your caliber, I guess, because you know, a lot of times you end up you can end up with a fan. You know, you definitely want to end up with somebody that likes you for you.
Yeah,
which is that's a struggle for us, you know, as celebrities.
Yeah. So listen, I just wanted to get a sense of we're going to try to wind this up. Once again, celebrating the incredible legacy of my dear friend Salt-N-Peppa, with the great MC Lyte in the room as well. Salt-N-Peppa's biopic airing on the Lifetime channel, 23rd, 8 p.m. and it will air once. Check your listings. Just to wrap this up, once again, on the generations coming up, with all the experience and the wisdom that you ladies have, and once again, Lyte, this includes you. What advice? What jewels? What pearls would you drop on these ladies, or anybody coming up in this completely different game now, especially business-wise? What words of wisdom do you have for those trying to step into this lane?
I think it's very important that as much as you want to be creative, and by all means, you know, be creative, I think it's very important you have to stay on top of your business, cross those T's, dot those I's. You have to actually become them lawyers, them accountants. It's okay, sadly, but it's important to do that. And and just focus and just stay, you know, when you stay true to yourself, and it doesn't matter about all these, you know, I take the good with the bad. There's good energy, there's bad energy. I understand that. And, you know, and I just try to keep pushing through it and just find how to make this better, and how to grow and just stay focused, stay true. And I'm telling you, you know, your dream, goals, and aspiration will come true.
There we go. Saul, any words of wisdom?
I want to hear from Lyte.
Oh, you know, go ahead, Lyte. Drop it like it's hot, honey.
Well, you know, prior to you saying specifically about business, I just thought, as a woman, never look for a man. Let a man find you, and then you can make the decision whether you want him or not.
Ooh.
But a man will stop long enough. If you call him over, he'll stop long enough to get what he wants, and he'll keep on moving. I say, let him find you. As it relates to business, I would just say to surround yourself with people that know more than you. People that aren't afraid to tell you, no, that's not gonna work. That ain't gonna work here. It could work, but this ain't the time to do it. Someone that's gonna be real with you. And yeah, just to echo Pep, it's great to be creative, but you better know about your business. Not unless you're just in it for some fun. But if you really feel like you can make a business out of it, you can certainly take care of your family and all sorts of things if you do it right. And if that's your goal, then you're gonna need to know the business side of things as well. So don't be afraid to ask a lot of questions.
Good, like it.
Love that. People that know more than you, right? And to ditto both of them, and to add on to that, if you want longevity, don't be a cookie cutter of any other artist. You know, I'm sure MC Lyte and Salt-N-Peppa, we worked on our sound and being original, you know, and not trying to mimic any other artists. And that's why we're all three of us still here now.
That's a great lesson. Originate, don't imitate or duplicate, which unfortunately a lot of younger cats do that. They get stuck in a groove and it's like you can't really tell who's who. So if you really want to stand out, come up with something original. I like to tell them too, all that information that you really need on the business, on the creativity to get a sense of it. In this era that we live in, it's all a few clicks away, whether it's on this thing or on this bigger thing, this here computers. And I also like to tell them, Donald S. Passman, all you need to know about the music business. He's been updating that book for the last 20 years.
I was about to say, I have the original.
That's the book. You really got to understand your business in this show business, music business game. This has been a delight for me, honestly, sincerely, to hang out with you ladies today. This has been a treat. I look forward to the time soon when we can see each other in the real world, the virtual real world, as opposed to the virtual digital world. And I just want to thank you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing this special Salt-N-Peppa on Lifetime. MC Lyte, I look forward to seeing you and hearing your incredible voice as the voiceover queen of the game. Thank you guys for just being incredible and being so on point, so consistent, just so every goddamn thing. Thank you, Salt-N-Peppa. I love you guys, man.
Love you guys.
Love you, babe.
Have a great day.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Peace.
Picture.